Three guys chilling on a podcast. Just to sing because it's cool.
Yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whoever and wherever you are. My name is Harry Barr. This is the 27 podcast, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderful Ben Butler and Joscel Manarambona. Guys, how are you?
Hello, guys.
Hi, Harry.
How have we been this week?
Yeah, pretty good. I've been making the most of the weather, really. It's been lovely.
Yeah.
Although
It's
right now
been
it's currently
so
raining, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not great right now.
Yeah.
I've officially finished uni, boys.
Way. That's weird, isn't
I'm
it?
done.
Yeah.
It is the most
weird.
anticlimactic thing. I think it's the most anticlimactic thing I've ever experienced. Like, I was talking about it with someone yesterday, actually, and I think you know in the final year you work so hard, and you look forward to that celebration at the end where you can just let loose and whatnot.
Yeah.
And not having that, when you have worked so hard this year, it is a really weird.
Well, I think so. Unlike you both, I did a dissertation, and I remember being sat because it was literally just before lockdown was cool when I submitted it. I remember just being sat in the lounge, just looking up and like, oh, I've submitted it now. That's several months of work done. Just got a little bit after uni. Yeah, but on Wednesday,
that was but we did have some drinks and stuff in the evening.
Yeah, it was definitely not like what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I can understand what you mean. We couldn't really. All the clubs were closing, and everyone had sort of just gone home as well, hadn't they? So it wasn't. We couldn't really celebrate, which is a shame.
Yeah.
And also this week, have we seen Elon Musk has had a child?
Isn't it
I
X?
Can't pronounce their name.
X12 AE something Alpha.
I think it starts with AE, doesn't it? AE.
No, it's X-12. Should I Google it? I'll Google it.
Google it.
But it's like A12 or something because that's their favorite jet.
No, it's the precursor to their favorite jet, apparently.
I thought it was their favorite jet. It's just the most.
Elon
It's just
Musk thing.
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Oh, here we go. XAE-A12. That's the name they've given their baby.
Wow.
Nice.
I thought Blue Ivy was a weird name.
Kid.
Well, I think you can name your children anything these days, can't you?
Yeah.
And I think that is quite nice, and it is nice to have original names rather than we've obviously got a lot of friends that name James and Jack, and you end up using their second name as their actual name and things like that because it just becomes too repetitive otherwise, and everyone gets confused and whatnot. So, but it is definitely a unique name. That is for sure. I don't think anyone else will be using that for a while.
No, I mean, birthday cards are going to be fun.
Did you see someone on Twitter? They broke it down, and it basically comes to the conclusion that you pronounce it Kyle. And then everyone was like, "This is a joke," and I was like, "Oh, okay." But imagine that the name was whatever Harry just said, and you actually just pronounced it Kyle.
Kyle. Wow, that's insane. That's crazy.
There's like a Stephen Fry and Hugh Lowry sketch where it's like, oh, what's your name? And he's like, he just drops a pen on the table. It's like, it's pronounced. And it's like,
I've seen that.
It sounds, and it's just like NIPP-LE, something like that. It's like, so Nipple. Your name is Mr. Nipple.
Oh, that is good.
Anyway, so I think we're going to start this week again with Nothing to Watch, and this week we all watched a Netflix documentary called A Secret Love, which follows the life of two 90-odd-year-old lesbians who have been in a relationship for almost 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
It was really sweet. It was just I when I first started watching it, I did say this to the boys before. I think Netflix love subplots of things. They love a subplot.
Yeah.
And the issue I had with when I first started watching documentaries, it started almost with the subplot rather than what the actual documentary was about.
Mm-hmm.
About this couple having to hide their love for so long.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of come on, get into it. But then once you did learn about it, it was so interesting, so sweet, and it's just so sad. I feel just so bad for everyone that has had to hide away who they really are for so long.
Well, so I thought like the documentary was kind of going to go down sort of the wider aspect of it, but it literally just follows this one couple and like two of their friends for briefly. But like they touch on it sort of in it, like, and they were in Chicago in like the 50s and 60s. Police do raids on these underground bars, and then they post the people's names in the paper, and they'd lose jobs, and like they'd just never get hired again because it was like it had professors from university, school teachers, firemen, just anyone, and like they'd never be able to get a job again because there was just such a high, and I couldn't imagine living with that hostility.
I just couldn't imagine living my life not being able to be me. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's apparent for so many people that they hide away because society doesn't accept you or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it's just so unfair. Like, why does society say what you have to be when, you know, if you're born a certain way, that's who you are. You should just, that's it. And it was just really touching, I think. And what I loved, they absolutely loved each other. Yeah. Like, it was so sweet, the way they would hold hands and the way they spoke about each other. Mm-hmm. I think whenever you ask a question to someone who loves someone a lot, not necessarily in just a romantic sense, when someone goes, so what does this person mean to you? I think you can really tell by when a person has to think about it. Because when you have to think about it, I think you're like, they mean so much to me that I can't express how much they mean to me. Yeah. And they both did that, and it was just so sweet. Yeah. And it's like, they just made me so happy. Yeah,
I think the thing that I sort of found strange, I think, is like sort of the family dynamic. So the two people are called Pat and Terry, and sadly, like, a lot of Pat's family died, or like they had disowned her as she came out to them. So they relied on Terry's family, but I think Terry's kids, they really wanted them to get married, and they were like worried that Pat was sort of keeping Terry away from them, and like didn't want to, like, because obviously they're both 90 years old towards the end. And like the kids wanted them to go into assisted living, essentially like a care home. But Pat just sort of was very reluctant. I think the independence that she wanted and still kept, because they'd spent 70 years of their life together, sort of being quite independent and sort of having to hide a lot of stuff. I think that's kind of like where it happened. And like the family dynamic, they in the end, as a spoiler, they do end up going to the care home because they are both, pretty old. It's weird having Pat sort of not wanting to do it because they'd spent their whole life basically hiding away from stuff like that.
I think it's that as well, but I also think you find it with old people that, well, I don't think you just find it with old people, actually. I think you find it with everyone. No one wants to go into assisted living.
No, I've had family members in the past.
It is almost, I don't want to say giving up, but it's, that sign where you're giving your life to someone else, basically, to look after. And I think it is so difficult. And I can understand, I completely understood why she didn't want to go into that. However much Terry needed it, because she wasn't, she has Parkinson's and things like that. But it was a really interesting documentary, I think, about two people living through that time and how everyone just thought they were best friends. And they didn't even,
I think they didn't even like come out to their niece
like 5 years ago. Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say. Like, imagine keeping that secret, even when it is now legal to be.
Yeah, and like it's widely accepted.
And they still, she said, I didn't come out to you for so long because I was worried you were going to reject me. Yeah, and I just think that is just so cruel and unfair.
But I also like how there was like a mini documentary within the documentary about like the women's baseball as well. Like
that was really
about that. But like, so if people that don't know, during the 40s when America was in the Second World War, I think the Cubs owner, like the Chicago Cubs owner, decided he wanted to carry on baseball. He basically didn't want these giant venues to go unused, so he wanted to carry on baseball. So he started up a women's baseball league, a professional league, and they had like 5 or 6 teams, I think, that like played in them, and they got proper sellout crowds. And Terry was one of those players.
There was one point she was like, there was 1 million people at one of the games. Like over the games, but that was the same over here, wasn't it?
It was women's
football got really popular.
Yeah. And I think that the highest scoring striker in the FA Cup history is a woman in the Women's FA Cup during the war, or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
That.
She's
That's
technically the UK's most successful striker. But
yeah,
I
it was just a really good
documentary.
documentary. Yeah, and exactly that's what's so great about documentary. You find out so much, and yeah, that was a really interesting narrative actually, and it was cool. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it's time we head back to the Rusty Club.
Yeah.
We'll get our guest on right now.
Right, guys. So this week's guest on our podcast is a massive fitness enthusiast, big in the fitness game, even bigger in real life, but at the same time, he's probably like one of the sickest entrepreneurs I've ever met in my life. Mr. Lubomba Munkuli, welcome to the chat. How you doing, sir?
Not too bad.
Quarantine hitting you hard?
Huh?
Quarantine been hitting you hard?
It's actually not too bad. For me, this is my natural environment, so I'm kind of taking advantage of it to really get shit done, basically.
Yeah.
So it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I saw in one of your videos you had like just a truck arrive with a bunch of weights.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So, and I saw there was quite a challenge to get them upstairs as well.
Yeah, it was a bit of a nightmare. So what I'm trying to do, obviously, is trying to set up a little hub in here where I can actually just like have majority of the things in house. And I feel like obviously after isolation, I think it's good to still have those things because that means I can just pretty much be pretty mobile in house without having to go out. Because obviously, in terms of training wise, I train at a gym, but the fact that I can also get my training done here as well as here and everything else, like it's the perfect balance. Obviously, due to the current situation, it's like, I've had to build those things in place. But majority of the things really, apart from fitness, have already been here. So it's much of an effort, to get this set up. Because I know a lot of people, a lot of friends, a lot of colleagues that I have, like they're having a bit of a hard time transitioning into this kind of
of course.
place.
Yeah.
So but the weights, that's a great thing. That's great.
I think one of the things that I found crazy as well, because obviously watching your training style and how you train, like you train super, super, super heavy. So how has adapting to quarantine, because obviously some of your weights, they go up to like 40 kilograms, don't they? So like that's probably nothing in terms of what you pushed previously.
It's not too bad.
How do you like adapt to that? Like that must be, did you adapt your training style or?
To be honest, like, you don't need to overkill it because obviously you need to understand the situation. A lot of people, they put too much pressure on themselves to like exceed what they've done in the past. That's not really the goal here. You have to understand the situation you're in. So I completely understand that I'm not in my normal training environment. So it's very, so my mindset has actually shifted from that kind of, hardcore mentality to, shifting a lot of weight to, all right, you need to do this for the longevity of this period. To actually enjoy the training and just take your time with it and just stay active. That's the more important thing. Stay active. Utilize, the energy that I have, based on the fact that I'm still eating, quite a fair amount of food. I need to, utilize that energy. So I just need to make sure that my total expenditure is distributed throughout the day. So, I'll just set, because majority of the time I'm set here. So I just use that as an outlet to actually just get more active. But, I'm pretty fortunate enough. I've got a set of dumbbells which allow me to, train the way I prefer to train. So I'm doing a lot of endurance-based training workouts, like HIIT workouts and circuits. It's been a good experience. My body's adapted, but to be honest, I found myself once when I got the weights that I was just far more happier training like that.
Yeah.
So it's just an outlet really for now. Until we go back to normal. But it sucks that I can't be, coming up and down. But it's all right.
Yeah, well, I don't mean to brag, but I recently started skipping, so I feel your pain on that.
Bro, you can teach me with that shit. Bro, like I tried to do, when I started doing my circuits, I was so stiff. Training. I come from playing basketball and football, so
So that's actually something I wanted to ask you. So I read in an interview you did with My Protein, and you spoke about how basketball was like your first love. And then you sort of transitioned into starting to do weightlifting and things. Yeah. Was there a reason you stopped basketball? Was it because you couldn't see yourself going any further in it, so you wanted to try something new? Or was it just you simply found the gym and you just fell in love with it?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, firstly, the real reason was that I was one of these small guys in the team. So I was like, I think at the time I was like 5'8", 5'10", something like that. I was probably like, I don't know, like 60 kilograms. And majority of the guys were like, 6'5", roughly 200 pounds. And I was like the smallest kid, but I was the fastest.
Yeah.
When we started playing the bigger teams. But yeah, I just, I started spending more time in the gym in order to like gain mass and get stronger. And I just found that I fell in love with the idea of building myself independently. And then, I kind of looked at the whole basketball scope and realized that like just basketball and football is just not for me. The fact that I was restricted to my progression based on it being a team sport.
Yeah.
But when I realized that, I'm not going to go far with this. Besides the fact I was given a fair opportunity. So I just decided that, I'm just going to stick this weight training out, see how far, it takes me. Because it got to a point where in basketball, people are like, shit, you're getting big.
Yeah.
I got the compliment. I was like, okay, fair enough. And about 2 years in, that's when I realized, okay, there might be something with this, with the whole Instagram stuff. More stuff started popping up, and and then when I posted my first transformational picture, that blew up, and that's when I just realized, this is it. And then
speaking about transformation photos, you put it, I think it was 3 days ago, the age 16 to age 21. I can't believe it. It's just,
that's silly. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
One thing that's really consistent as well is like you've maintained a certain, like you were lean in every single picture. Does that make sense? So were you always lean, or was there ever a point where you kind of like let yourself go a bit? Or
that's one of the blessings in terms of like when I said like being a basketball player, that was very small, 5'10", very quick. It just meant metabolism is one of those things as well that would just happen to be very fast. So for me, staying lean naturally like all year round was never like a problem until now, where I'm actually like in the bodybuilding world, where mass is a big thing. So staying lean is easy for me.
Yeah.
But adding muscle is like one of the hardest things. Of course, the first 5 years were pretty consistent. I've always it wasn't too difficult. But by the time when I reached like 22, 21, we slowed down massively. So now I'm 24. Like just to continue gaining mass has become so difficult to a point where I did my first bulk at the start of this year, and I managed to gain roughly around about 3 kilograms to 4 kilograms of lean quality mass. Obviously, bear in mind, that was also a little bit of fat. But it took so long, and between the age of 16 to 20, I gained roughly 30 to 40 kilograms of muscle, and now I'm starting to gain 5.
Wow,
that's insane.
Perspective, like it's like obviously the more you do it, the harder it becomes. But the fact that I'm consistent over the years, it's pretty easy for me to stay lean and grow. But now it's become a different ballgame where like to even gain 5 kilograms is like an absolute nightmare, and I have to hold that. So So
I guess I got two. Well, firstly, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, man!
Happy birthday!
24. That's crazy.
Appreciate it.
And then, secondly, putting on muscle and stuff, like when you first put it on. So when you first started going to gym, was this always like a long term? Do you have long term goals or short? Like, were you at a point where you're like, okay, so I'm say 60 kilograms, I want to get to 70, and then we go from there, and like have short little goals rather than long foreseeable things.
Short term and long term. So your long term goals, like you have to be very realistic, like read what you're capable of. And for me, it was always good the fact that I can have an input and send output, because everything was so regimented. It still is, because everything's so regimented, and I'm very strict with my food and my training. That I can see the input. I can push the input and see the output. So at a very early age, the fact that I could commit every day in the gym for the first 5 years, that I saw the direct output of that, and that was growing and seeing strength. So definitely you have to see things from a long-term perspective to appreciate the overall process, because it doesn't happen overnight. So I saw my physique at the age of 20, being it all kind of so my first notion of like what my ideal physique would look like at 16, it became a reality. So it manifested into itself by the time when I go to 20. So I was, I was due to setting a long-term goal and being very realistic that it's going to take me a while. But by the time when I got to 20, I looked at myself and I was like, oh shit, this is pretty much what I was looking to be like.
Yeah.
But obviously that's given that I put in the work and I put in the consistency, you know. So yeah, long term goals are far more important. Short term goal, I mean, really, in the world of bodybuilding, like the short term goals only come in at the very start of your journey. Because, you know, learning diet, learning how to be, you know, very regimented with everything, you know, adopting the principles of what a bodybuilder does on a daily basis. Those are your kind of short term goals. And after like 2 years of lifting, really, those things you'd be like, you know, they should be
second nature. Yeah,
you shouldn't be thinking about that. It's just so like passive that it's just like, you know, it becomes routine, it becomes a habit. So, you know, by then, you know, after a year of lifting, it should be a habit, you know, just being disciplined for that period of time. You know, I believe it roughly takes like 66 days in order to build a habit. So, you know, by that point, you'd be pretty good to be very consistent. Yeah, few coming years. So yeah, for me, I kind of understood that whole idea, and my goals just became a reality as I went step by step. It's definitely harder now.
Yeah. So like with sort of your nutrition and exercises, like what sort of when you started, and I guess as you've carried on as well, is it sort of like self-taught, or did you sort of have trainers and like other people helping you as well, like utilizing resources?
Yeah, everything that I do to this point is self-taught.
Oh wow!
So,
wow,
that's crazy.
From social media, like it's everything. I mean, like the internet is like the biggest blessing. So if anyone's not using that, it's like, wow, you're missing out. But yeah, everything self-taught. Dieting, I taught myself, trial and error. You know, my first competition, it took me like 3 weeks to prep for that. But the fact that, you know, like I said earlier, it's very easy for me to stay lean. I kind of knew that had a huge advantage. You know, the fact that something that would take people 12 weeks, it took me 3 weeks to get into shape and step on stage and get a trophy. Like, that's when I kind of realized.
Ridiculous, man. That's commendable. That's insane, sir. That's crazy.
So, just trial and error. Everything is trial and error. Like, literally from building physique to business to, you know, relationship, like everything. So trial and error. There's only, so obviously, like in terms of like knowledge, acquiring knowledge through different resources. Yeah, you know, you can read a lot. You know, you can, you know, watch a lot of stuff. But you gain most of your gains are going to come from experience, actually doing it. You know, that's what takes us, you know, takes you to the next level in terms of like how much you know about yourself and really getting shit done, because you just learn by doing it. As long as you do, you learn.
Yeah. And you're mentioning, about your business and stuff. So like obviously there's the posts that you make on your Instagram and stuff, the animations that you do and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That's insane. What is that? And I found out that like CC Creation or that there's animation. That's your stuff, isn't it? So you did that all off your own back. That's all on you. I was like, oh, that's crazy. You put them on your videos as well. That's insane. I see other fitness influencers that I follow on YouTube as well using the exact same stuff as well. So you're clearly having a massive impact in that sense. But obviously, away from the fitness aspect, you also like got an entrepreneurial side to you as well. So like, you've talked to us about like how you those businesses like creation and like BS design, all that kind of stuff.
So that kind of evolved when I started university. So my first year was more like, you know, kind of discovering myself. But really, when I came to uni, it was more of a excuse to get out of my hometown. Yeah. So I understood very quickly that, you know, this is not the place for me. So I grew up in Plymouth. Yeah. So that's why, you know, like for the first 15 years of my life, I kind of lived. And university was like, you know, I had to find the furthest place away from that place as possible. Yeah. And discover myself, and I wasn't afraid of that. You know, I was more about experience and put myself out there. And I knew with the business, roughly around 2014, that's why I kind of started taking social media very seriously. Yeah, I kind of knew to put myself out there, I would collaborate with more people and build my personal brand. And then when I started uni, especially second year, you know, actually not first year, I started writing my first ebook. It took a year to write. Yeah, and then that was more my first experience of like, you know, putting in a bit of work and seeing the direct output of like the reward of it and actually making money from that. You know, that was actually like a year after. But then I kind of realized, see, the thing with me, there's just so many different things happening at once. So anyway, second year of uni, I met this guy who's still my friend to this day. His name is Joe. So second year of uni, he came up to me, he was like, yo, I need some help with my videography and photography. I've got this small little startup, you know, it's a food business. He just moved from Oxford. He just moved from Warrington to Oxford. So project with him. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool, I'm happy to help out. You know, didn't think much of it. Went to meeting, sent the meeting, looked at the whole thing, you know, and I was like, you know what? For a brief moment, I kind of just took a pause and I saw an opportunity where I was like, you know what? I would like to be part of this and be more than someone that's just helping him.
Mm-hmm.
I went home that night, had a thought about it, and realized what I could do for him and also for myself. I saw the opportunity, jumped on it, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Initially, I said, hey, I'm not asking for anything yet. I want to give me 30 days and I want to turn your business around it. This is me coming from a business, from a branding perspective.
Yeah.
Studying architecture, so I had a pretty good eye for, building aesthetic stuff.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm going to do, and this is what we're going to be in the next 30 days. And I did that. I rebranded the whole thing. I really liked the name that I had at the time, Prepped, which was very simple. So I knew what to do with just that slogan itself. And that's where that started. And then before you know it, we're in full swing, sending food all over the UK. And, managed to sponsor some big athletes, one of them being a Red Bull rider, BMX rider.
Oh, cool.
Oh, crazy.
So I went from riding BMX back in the day, that was my very true passion, which is still is today. So I found this BMX rider who was actually in Oxford riding, who I've been watching for years. This guy is literally at the time when I was a kid, I was like, this is what I want to be if I were to pursue this.
Yeah.
So DM'd him and I said, yo, we'll send you some food. Sent him some food and he liked it. And then we actually ended up sponsoring him. So
cool.
Leverage.
That's crazy.
Actually.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It's pretty crazy. So that's leverage in terms of building connections with bigger people.
Yeah.
And then eventually 2 years after, about a year after the business kind of failed, it started going downhill. I had zero experience. I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest. From a financial perspective and real mechanics of the business, I really didn't know. So while I learned that process was a big learning curve. And that business failed. It came home. Bear in mind, between that period, between 2017 to 2018, from January to December, that period, I never went home. That's the only thing I was dedicated to. So it was just university, training, and that. And I was so committed to that. By the time when I left university, by the time when the Christmas holidays came, I went home on the 10th of December, and I was so burnt out from the whole entire process. I couldn't even function for about 2 months. So that was my first true experience with business. And then
so
I put it into the other businesses.
Leading off that, so you've said that architecture is not an easy degree. It takes a lot of time and precision to do it, and then you're running your own business on the side, which also requires quite determination and drive for it to succeed. And then on top of that, you have a body like you do, which also requires so much conditioning in the gym and time spent on it. How do you manage that all in a day? How do you manage those 3 things in a day?
It's kind of funny because I still get questions where people ask me, hey, how do you get productive, or how do you do it? I'm saying, oh yeah, be planned, make sure you plan out your day, make sure you do this. But really, I realized that's to be honest with you, that's a whole bunch of bullshit, because at the end of the day, it's about mentality. Those things that you're talking about, I feel they just reflect my character as an individual. My commitment to something and my obsession, which I feel is a key word. I'm just obsessed with the whole idea that I just live it. To a point where I can't tell someone that you have to be planned, because it's more than planning. It's literally you do that stuff every single day, around the clock. Not everyone can do that. And the fact that I have this passion for so many different little things, and they happen to intertwine and work together very well, it makes it very easy. But university was the biggest challenge. It really kind of cost me 4 years. But again, without university, there's no way I would have discovered the majority of these things. So again, this is where planning does come in handy, and having a routine. Imagine my routine from 16 was always very similar. So the time that I eat my food to when I train, and then putting university into that kind of made everything easier, really, because when your lectures start, when you finish, and when you're having your next meal, and so on. So that was pretty easy. That made my job easier. It reminds me of school as well. In school, it just made it easier because I knew.
That structure.
I can just eat my meal. So really, it was quite easy. It's just the fact that the only sacrifices, were, having a social life, because I wasn't going out like majority of the students. And that was pretty much it. And around the clock, I would just work. And bear in mind, when I was in university as well, I had a part-time job in a nightclub doing photography. So, I was only sleeping for roughly 3 hours during that period.
How?
Oh, wow.
I need at least 12 hours a day.
I've learned
amazing.
I've learned a lot regarding sleep. So it's only the last 2 years really that I've actually started considering my sleep. But before that, it was absolutely horrendous. Like, it was terrible.
But for everything, it seems to be paying off as well, which is amazing. So when I first started watching your YouTube videos, and especially your Instagram ones, I think they're the most amazing to me, actually. Is the editing that you actually do on them. Putting up when you're doing a certain exercise and then putting up what it's working on, and all the graphics. It's just so good. It is so good. And and then your YouTube videos as well, it looks so clean and everything, and clearly all the dedication and time you have put into it. It looks like it's paying off.
I just need to quickly switch his chair because this is broken.
Yeah, no worries. I have a brief pause.
I'll keep this in. Quality content. Peek behind the curtain. No, because I with the editing, I think for about 3 days I was gassed when I figured out I could just make these little banners that we put and then you're just like putting all these graphics. I'm like, oh man.
It takes practice. Like okay, this is another part of me. So since as a kid, I've always been very practical, very hands-on. So I always learn pretty quick in terms of like just being creative and making things. So for me, that's pretty natural again. Like, it just made it very, like, it's just so progressive. Like, I've like over the years, I've just got better and better. And just simpler, and being able to make creative things just there and then. And I saw the advantages of it. That's why I took advantage of having that in business, of what I can do with it. So when it comes to business, I can flip something pretty quick. Like, in terms of like from my imagination to make it a tangible product that can be sold. I saw that as a pro, and I just just keep learning. The fact that you just have to exercise your creativity, just like bodybuilding. The more you exercise it, the better you get.
So a little bit of a curveball of a question here, but in the world we live in now, there's a massive surge in, say, like veganism and saving the planet and all this. So with the amount of protein that you have to take that you take in a week, and I know there's I'm sure you have like protein shakes, protein bars and stuff. Would it be ever possible for you to keep your body by going vegan? And then is it ever something that you've considered?
I think I'll probably consider it at a certain period of my life. Definitely not now, because I don't think it'll be sustainable for what I'm doing. It could sustain what I'm doing, but I think I'm yet to find out. Right now, because of quarantine, it kind of made me realize like I can maintain my physique with a very minimal amount of food. With decreased amount of protein. So vegan diet would definitely work. I feel like if I were to transition to a vegan diet right now, I think I'll be fine. I feel like at a certain period of my life, I think it would work. But right now, definitely not, because my goals are so skewed more towards growth and progression. Strength and size, that a vegan diet is not sufficient enough to sustain or promote that. So I don't think it'll work. No, it all depends on your lifestyle.
I think we were playing American football, and I think like last year when that Game Changers documentary came out, I think about 90% of the team for like a week was like, oh, I need to go vegan, I need to do this, and my performance will increase. And I was just like, I'm just going to carry on eating bacon, I'm good.
Imagine, like, obviously something like that. Like, I watched that documentary as well. It did get me thinking, but it makes you realize that in terms of media, what the media can do to you and how it can create influence your
create like a narrative.
But Yeah, it's a lifestyle that, you know, it will take a lot of practice to change.
Mm.
And there are very few people that have decided to go vegan, really, they truly want to do it. And especially the ones that accept what it is, like the environment. Yeah, I can see the contribution to it. But again, it's all personal, because my personal experience, especially from someone that was, you know, not, you know, I'm not British. I was born in Zimbabwe. So for someone that was from, you know, from Africa to England, you know, there's a huge gap in terms of the lifestyle, you know, down to the nutrition, to the food. So from going from like a third world country where, you know, food isn't, you know, like, it's like where food can be a challenge in days, you see it from a very different perspective. So when I look at food, I look at fuel. It's like, it's your fuel to survive. But also now I'm in this condition, I'm in this new environment. I don't need to look at food like that anymore. But if like that, you know, I grew up with that mentality where, you know, you have to eat to survive kind of thing. It's like, well, yeah, keep eating. So my perspective of food is very different. So when someone says, you know, you're killing animals for food where you shouldn't need to, because there's plenty of other options, I'm like, well, dude, like, it's freaking meat. Like if you were to experience what I've experienced as a kid, like, you know how much you cherish, you know, something like that. So I'm just like, it's going to take a while for me to adjust. Obviously, in terms of mass consumption here in like in UK, US, like, you know, we do take it quite far in the methods that we use. So I don't know. Yeah, you know, it would take a lot for me to change.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily something, you know, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that want to hear that, but I don't know. It's the truth.
So doing a little bit of research, you've just said you're from Zimbabwe originally. Your name actually means thanks. So I simply just want to ask you, what are you most thankful for?
Probably the opportunity that my parents gave me.
That's nice.
That's good.
I feel like
that's a good answer.
That's a really good answer.
Yeah, I think that's really one thing that I'm most thankful for, because otherwise I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't. So yeah, big thing. I think it was by default. It always goes to my mum. Like, my
mums are the best. Let's be honest.
To the mums.
Are the best.
All the mums out there, and dads,
You know, mums are a different breed.
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay, Lou, just before we finish, I just have to ask you the most important question we ask anyone that comes onto the podcast, and that is, what's your favorite ABBA song?
I don't even know what to begin. No idea.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. That's cool.
If you got a recommendation, send it my way.
Oh, you got to put them in your El Toro playlist. You got to put them in the playlist.
They got some good gym tunes, I think. Whereabouts can people find you on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter?
Yeah, pretty much every single platform. But I'm working really hard now to provide like unique content for each platform. But you can find me from Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, and YouTube, and even TikTok.
Wow!
TikTok.
Oh, he's bright.
So pretty much every platform at Lubomba, you'll find me.
Great.
The links to all those will be in the description of the YouTube video as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Lou.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolute pleasure.
It's been so interesting.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers, mate.
Another massive thank you to Lubomba for coming onto the podcast today. Again, his links to his social medias will be in the description of the YouTube video. Guys, has there been anything in the news you've seen this week, despite Elon Musk's
Yes. Apple. So I'm the only Apple user out of the three of us. But Apple have brought out some wheels.
Ooh.
Some wheels that you put on your computer.
On the iMac.
And they cost on the iMac, and they cost £700.
They cost more.
£700
for wheels.
They cost more than the iPhone SE that's just come out. You could buy, I think, 2 iPhone SEs for the price of the wheels.
For wheels.
Don't get me wrong, I love Apple. I love Apple. But there's no way I'm spending $7.
Well,
what do you need wheels for?
I mean, if you want to take your computer for a walk, obviously, you know. my favorite
wheels to make a skateboard.
My favorite, yeah, exactly.
A skateboard.
Yeah. My favorite thing about them is that there's no lock on them. They can't lock. So if you're on a slight incline, they're just going to roll away. It's just going to roll away.
Did you watch Marcus Brownlee's?
I did. Yeah. So he said sort of like it's like the whole premium sort of brand premium sort of like if they charge like.
And I actually do sort of agree with that.
I don't agree with it.
But what he was saying was. Yeah, but what he was saying was where Supreme have a brick, don't they? Like no one's ever going to buy it, but they well, people will, but they do it for. Yeah. But like I've seen Tiffany have a.
Is it a? No, it's a paperclip, isn't it? Tiffany paperclip.
A paperclip, Tiffany paperclip for like £300.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to buy that?
Well, it's like
it's just for luxury's sake.
It's what they say. There's no such thing as bad press. They're like, oh, Apple's got these £700 wheels, and also everyone's kind of forgotten about it. But they had a £900 desk monitor stand, as well. And I'm just like,
I didn't know that.
So this was like when they announced the computer last year or something. But like, there's no such thing as bad press because they're going to all the outlets are going to be talking about it, and they're very nice wheels.
And
like,
it just compares it as well. Doesn't it?
Like if they charge like 50 quid for the wheels, no one would really be talking about it. Like, oh, 50 quid, okay, it's a bit pricey, but like the £700 really sticks in people's brains, and. I mean, they are. I think in Marcus Brownlee's video, he's like, "Oh, they weigh more than like an iPhone 11 each wheel." So like, it's not like they're badly made, but it's just. So
I'm sure for £700 they're going to be good wheels. Oh, yeah. It is ridiculous.
But it's just such
as you
strange.
Said, it is quite clever.
I think this week has been a very weird one for news.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And then there's something I want to bring up from last week's podcast actually, because we're on this topic of haircuts, and I said I cut my brother's hair, Freddie's hair, and we were talking about that. And Harry in the podcast, he says, "My sister's been trying to cut my hair, but I will never let her cut my hair. It won't happen."
Well, no, I said I didn't say I'd never let her.
Here we are a week later. And Harry Barrow's got a fresh trim. He's got a fresh haircut. Okay. So Harry, who cut your hair?
I'm just going to say straight up. I didn't say I'd never let her. I've just been saying. I've been saying no. Also, I came home from work to find an Indian takeaway, and some clippers on a desk, and I was like, "It's 10 o'clock. I can't bother to cook. That looks like a very tasty Indian takeaway." And then I sat down. I started eating it, and before I know, my hair's magically disappeared. Don't know who did it. Not a clue.
Just falling into your curry.
It was the hair. It was the hair fairy. The hairy. I don't know. But it's. I think it looks pretty good. I mean,
it's not a bad cut.
It's like
she did. Shouts out to Ella Bar. She did watch like loads of tutorials and stuff.
She did.
She did.
And she wouldn't take my bribe as well.
Oh, so was it to shave? What was it? Yeah.
Shave my initials into your hair.
He'd be at the back. No, I think she did a pretty good job with the fade. Like it's obviously not as short as I'd normally go and get it cut, but it's very good for a quarantine haircut. And it's just she's so proud of it, bless her. But it's just like it's been a week since she cut it nearly, and she's still like, I just can't believe it looks so good. I'm like, look, I will shave it all off if you don't shut up about it.
To be fair, Freddie's has looked better as the week has gone by.
Yeah.
But then I also, I'm on the verge of needing a haircut, but I can't for a couple of weeks.
You got an
And Joscel, how's yours looking?
My hair's looking sick, boys. I honestly, I went on a rim and I did an absolute madness. Look at this. What? Oh my God, I'm gleaming. Hey,
for those of you listening to the podcast, Joscel has decided to go noughties Justin Timberlake on us and go for some frosted tips. But instead of going frosted tips, he's bleached his whole hair. The Dennis Rodman.
The Dennis Rodman definitely comes to mind. For those people that don't know, I'm just going to put a photo up. bleaching.
Looks a bit orange at this point. Want to get some toner in there.
It
is a bit orange at the moment.
It does look a bit. It does look a bit Dennis Rodman-y.
A bit. It is definitely Dennis Rodman-y.
Yeah.
Rodman-y. Joscel, it is definitely something.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a good vision for this one, boys. I promise you.
Was there? Come on, explain the
thought
rationale
process.
behind it.
I mean, first of all, I've always wanted to dye my hair. I was like, do you know what? I want to dye my hair, but I never really had the balls to do it because I don't know. But I saw quarantine. I was like, actually, now's a very good time to do it because it looks bad. It look bad in hibernation.
We record this on Sundays, and Boris Johnson is going to be making an announcement tonight about an update on lockdown. What happens if he announces, "Oh, the country can open again tomorrow"? It's very unlikely, but like,
nah.
I mean, if they do that, then we're all screwed anyway. But yeah, it would.
I'm extending my quarantine.
No, what Joscel would do is just get it. I think if it goes a bit whiter, it will look better.
I'll get it faded on the side.
And then, get it cut on the side. I think that go for the old Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
The OBJ.
Yeah.
But my thinking is, boy, because the top is all blondish, when my hair grows again and it goes like black to blonde, then you'll get.
To be fair, I had a guy that I have a guy that I work
take a while
with.
Though.
He like bleached his hair for like a cancer charity thing. And like over the next year, it started to grow out, and it actually looked really cool by the end of it as well. Like where he had like it looked really natural, but like the fade from the brown into the blonde, it did look pretty cool. Yeah,
that's just got root central to me. Yeah, it is. It is definitely something to sell, and it is. You missed our. Sadly, we didn't record our reactions, and it showed us.
Yeah, no, it's just we had a call. So we had a call like before the podcast where we discussed what we were going to do, and just I was like, oh, so this week, I did some gardening. There was a mouse in my room, so I chased that out, obviously, and then I did this, and he just pulls his hat off, and like I really wish I was recording because I didn't say a word for like 30 seconds. My face was just like. Absolutely mad.
My complexion looks lighter though. Look at that complexion.
Looks lovely.
It's good, isn't it? Oh,
yeah.
So,
who have we got next week?
So
I'm really excited about this.
So next week we have a man who I have been a fan of for the last, I want to say 3 years, probably. Maybe it might be a little bit shorter, but he is famous. He became famous on Facebook through his Street Smart videos, where he goes around interviewing drunk students, and then he was able to blag his way into London Fashion Week for a video as well. It is the one and only Mr. Max Fosh on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. We've managed to bag him.
That is really cool.
That's gonna be cool.
So we're really looking forward to having him on next week. But yeah, I'd just like to say,
has anyone got anything going on
this week? I'm going to finish uni on Wednesday.
Oh.
Yeah. But so when the podcast goes out, I will have finished university. That will be so. When you're listening to
that is exciting.
Everyone listening to this right now. I'm done. Hopefully. Yeah. It's a weird.
Same thing really, but fix up the garden a little bit, make it all nice and pretty. Do that. Sort out my hair. I might even cut it myself. See how that pans out.
Yeah.
And then keep you posted next Sunday. That's going to be nice.
Big thanks to Lou again. He was really good. Really insightful.
Yeah. And just a big thank you to everyone again for listening, rating. I really appreciate the feedback, and we'll see you next week.
Until next
subscribe, like, comment, give us a rate,
hit the bell.
Oh dear. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks.
Peace.